Yoshino thought she could sneak in unnoticed for her history class but was eventually found out by her history teacher, Masamune. Hideyoshi is giving lots of excuses why she can't sleep earlier or take the early train, so history freak Date warns if she fails the next test, she will have to sit for supplementary classes throughout summer vacation. Oh god, entire summer on history, no way. Needing a quick way out of it, Hideyoshi goes to pray at a nearby shrine to pass her tests. Seriously, for a girl who has bad luck almost her entire life trying to get good luck. What are the chances? And she has only 1 yen to spare. Pathetic. I'm sure the gods aren't amused. Hideyoshi spots something going on in the room behind the shrine. This is just the start of her bad luck streak. After slipping on a pachinko ball, tripping, nearly having the bell fall on her, she stumbles into the room while some mysterious character is doing some mysterious prayer procession and whoosh. In a flash she is transported to the mountains. Where could this be? The nearby village is on fire. Hideyoshi is still confused and thought she saw her friend-cum classmate, Mitsuhide. Mitsuhide doesn't recognize her though Hideyoshi thinks everything that has happened so far isn't funny. Confronted with a band of bandits, out of the fire comes Nobunaga Oda. She swings her blade of cruelty to save the day. Hideyoshi is brought back to Nobunaga's castle and she thinks the castle that is void of lights is to save electricity. Still in denial, worse, there is no signal for her handphone. Nobunaga has never seen such a device before and her suggestion to fix it is to smash it. Well, that always works if you see it on TV, right? Only thing is there is no TV here. Hideyoshi's handphone is precious to her but Mitsuhide doesn't trust her. However, Nobunaga thinks of having her help them out. She looks different and her heart is telling her that she isn't just an ordinary girl. Hideyoshi insists she wants to go home and fails to realize that she may have gone to a different era when she couldn't even recognize if there was such a big castle in her neighborhood. Still in denial. No train stations, no hamburgers, no nothing. Checking her history textbook to confirm, the only thing that puzzles her is that everyone here is female. I guess she got lost so Nobunaga picks her back to her castle. Looks like she'll be living here for a while. Mitsuhide not happy with that. But she isn't going to just be a freeloader. Hideyoshi has to help Nobunaga to gather the crimson armor. Legend has it that a general who wore it will certainly conquer the land. However, the general incurred the god's wrath and lost his life while the armor scattered and lost throughout the land. Nobunaga seeks the crimson armor for her conquest and to unite Japan as a nation. Hideyoshi gladly accepts her task till she can find a way back home. Later, Hideyoshi runs into a dog with a helmet. The odd part is, this dog can talk. It's hard adjusting to life without modern amenities, Note, I wouldn't call this bad luck. Referring to her history textbook again and puzzled that everyone here are girls, she thinks they are historical cosplaying otakus. That's a nice way of putting it but no, it doesn't help her situation. Nobunaga gives Hideyoshi a proper dress to wear since she'll stand out like a sore thumb with her school uniform. Then along with Mitsuhide, they go revisit the burnt village. They see everyone working hard picking up the pieces as Mitsuhide announces Nobunaga's visit to cheer them for their hard work despite their sorrow. However, to Hideyoshi, mere words won't be just enough. She gets involved with the villagers, attracting them with her handphone music. Nobunaga notices she easily captured the peasants' hearts and is correct to have chosen her. As a reward, Hideyoshi is given her own room back in the castle, albeit small but it's good enough. Seeing how plain and bare her wooden room is, she decides to do some interior decorating. I'm sure such words are alien to Mitsuhide. The helmet dog runs into her again. He is Shiro and seems he too is not of this world and knows Hideyoshi is also from a different world. Guess what? Shiro is the only guy here but I wouldn't count him because he's a dog. Shiro may seem knowledgeable but when Hideyoshi asks about how people are born here, he returns to that children's story of stork delivery or from the cabbage. More importantly, he isn't sure if she can return to her own world. So much for being smart. Smart ass more like it. Next morning, Mitsuhide is appalled Hideyoshi has decorated her room but Nobunaga finds it nice. Mitsuhide still isn't thrilled with Hideyoshi and challenges her to several matches to show her the true spirit of a warrior. Seriously, challenge a girl like Hideyoshi. As expected, Hideyoshi fails badly in all the matches, whether it is dagger throwing, shooting arrows or cutting the hay with the sword. In a face-to-face duel with Mitsuhide, Hideyoshi pulls off some kung fu moves she loves discussing with her friends. As flashy and entertaining this last bout may be, eventually Hideyoshi lost. In fact, she lost all her matches. Nobunaga is impressed and wants her to continue learning martial arts under Mitsuhide. She also wants Hideyoshi to call her my lord and be her official retainer like Mitsuhide. Later, eye-patched Masamune talks to Mitsuhide about information of a piece of the crimson armor. Yashimoto Imagawa has the left leg piece. Mitsuhide will make arrangements to leave with Nobunaga for negotiations. Archer Yashimoto learns from her retainer, Ieyasu Tokugawa, that Nobunaga is on her way here to negotiate for her crimson armor part. She is so bored that she can't wait to meet her. Nobunaga and her retainers are on their way to meet Yoshimoto. Because whiny Hideyoshi has been complaining non-stop, they decide to stop at the next sweet stall. However, they are surrounded by Yoshimoto and her guards. Hideyoshi thought she saw her other friend too, but Ieyasu doesn't recognize her. Though Yoshimoto sees no use of the armor, she also has no reason to give it to her. She challenges Nobunaga to break through her army to get it. If she can, the trio rest in a nearby inn. Nobunaga thinks Yoshimoto has no real intentions of fighting and scoffs off Mitsuhide's idea of raising an army to just get the armor. Hideyoshi has an idea: recreation. Do they even know what that word means? They'll find out. Nobunaga sends a sarcastic letter of challenge to Yoshimoto that they should settle this between generals or she'll be a laughingstock for generations. Clearly Yoshimoto has fallen for it. At Okezama, the generals will fight in a best-of-3 matches. The match will be decided by a draw from a box, so this is recreation. Each of them can write what kind of duel they want, so Nobunaga further taunts Yoshimoto to write all archery if she feels she is just good at that. Yup, she has fallen for it again. The first match is a wrestling match between Mitsuhide and Ieyasu. Mitsuhide has the upper hand, but some magical force causes her leg to trip, thus giving Ieyasu the winning point. Then Nobunaga wins the beach volleyball match, and it seems this isn't just a best-of-3 match because they played every other match in the box. The last one will settle it since both sides are leveled. It'll be kite fighting. Ieyasu and Hideyoshi will be tied to the kite. Why Hideyoshi? Because she's the lightest. She'll never diet again. In addition to Nobunaga and Yoshimoto battling it out, Ieyasu and Hideyoshi will also have to duke it out. Plus, a large firework is strapped to each of the kite's back, and after a certain time, the fuse will be lit. Is this really kite fighting? Ieyasu thought she had cut her own fuse so she is safe from the blast, but it seems Yoshimoto has taken the liberty to replace it. So Iyasu's kite blasts off first. She is falling down like a rock. Hideyoshi wants to save her, so Nobunaga is impressed with her pity for the enemy and swoops the kite down to grab her. However, at this point, Hideyoshi's fuse lights up and they are both sent blasting into the sky. In the end, Yoshimoto gives Nobunaga her armor piece. She isn't interested in conquering the land but would prefer watching how Nobunaga will do so. However, Ieyasu takes a personal interest in the armor even if her master doesn't. As reward for her bravery, Nobunaga gives Hideyoshi a sack of mochi sweets. Was it worth it? Later, Hideyoshi refers to her textbook to find that Yoshimoto was killed at Okezama, and this is where Nobunaga's conquest began. But more importantly, Hideyoshi knew Shiro was peeping at the ladies taking a bath and wax him. It didn't help when he mentioned he wasn't interested with those without breasts. Nobunaga and her retainers are watching the eternal battle between Kenshin Yusugi of Echigo and Shinjin Takeda of Kai. Seriously, after 598 straight draws, where the heck did they get so much energy still? A rumor has it that the fight started over something trivial, but Hideyoshi thinks they get along well because they seem to be enjoying the fight. Nobunaga finds her answer interesting. Hideyoshi thinks of snapping a picture of their fight, but she got a little too close and the impact wrecks her handphone. However, Nobunaga isn't here for just sightseeing. These two have part of the crimson armor she needs, and negotiating in exchange for gold did not turn out favorable. Why would they sell their family treasure for money? Mitsuhide has an idea. Side with one of them to defeat the other. As reward, they'll get the armor from the loser, and as reward from the winner. Nobunaga reprimands Mitsuhide for using such a cowardly tactic. That night, Mitsuhide bumps into Ieyasu in the forest. Ieyasu knows her wish to make Nobunaga happy and advises her to do something that will accomplish that. Because Hideyoshi is still complaining about her broken handphone, she excuses herself when Nobunaga makes light of it. She then stumbles Mitsuhide scheming to launch a secret night strike with several guards in a shed. Being the dumb blonde, she got tied up in the woodshed. Nobunaga went looking for Hideyoshi and spots her handphone on the ground before finding the tied-up girl and learned everything. I don't know if Mitsuhide was a slow ass or Nobunaga was just super fast, because the latter managed to get ahead of Mitsuhide and stopped her dead in her tracks. She is not happy that she disobeyed her order of no interference. Next day, Nobunaga cuts into Kenshin and Shinjin's match to battle her for the armor. She mocks their weak fights because there is no apparent winner and that they seem to be enjoying it. A war means taking lives. Nobunaga fights Shinjin first, and her deadly aura is proof she is serious in wanting the armor to conquer the land. Shinjin questions her desire for it, but she questions them back why they don't seek it. Nobunaga wins her match. Shinjin agrees to give her the armor with a condition that she takes her head. She doesn't want to live with shame. She is ready to do so, but Kenshin cuts in between. She wants Nobunaga to spare Shinjin's life and take hers instead. Nobunaga backs out with an excuse that their heads aren't worth displaying. In the end, she got both their armors. Her retainers thought it was a brilliant plan to let Kenshin plead for Shinjin's life, but Nobunaga really did intend to take Shinjin's head. Kenshin and Shinjin continue their fight while noting Nobunaga's strength as the real deal. Since Nobunaga won that match, they can't let her take the lead in their battle. Yashimoto and Ieyasu invite Nobunaga, Hideyoshi, Mitsuhide, Shinjin and Kenshin to go hawk hunting, in which they use trained hawks to hunt for food. When the hawk goes into a mysterious wood while chasing after a rabbit, the others venture in, where they find Masamune Date sitting round a gathering of dead samurai who are forcing her to tell 100 ghost stories. The others soon learn they can't leave the forest until they tell all 100 stories, which proves to be difficult since none of Nobunaga's stories are scary and Mitsuhide is easily frightened. Being mocked by the others, Hideyoshi gives Nobunaga a story from her time, the performance of which proves to be so scary it puts out all the remaining candles, allowing the dead samurai to pass on and the others to leave. Ieyasu is seen conspiring with her aides, planning to encourage Nobunaga to complete the armor so that she can take it from her. Mitsuhide recalls the day she first met Nobunaga, who took a liking to her and showed her a world outside of her workaholic life, asking for her help in conquering the land. Meanwhile, Nobunaga takes Hideyoshi through the inspection tunnels, talking about the good luck charm she received from her grandmother, Nobusada. However, as they prepare to head back, Hideyoshi accidentally activates the security system, filling the way back with deadly traps. Meanwhile, Masamune talks with Mitsuhide before Nobunaga and Hideyoshi manage to escape from the tunnel. It is revealed that Masamune is actually Hideyoshi's teacher, Ms. Date, who traveled back from the present after discovering someone that came out of the shrine and then disappeared. As Nobunaga and co. put together a play as per Hideyoshi's recommendation, Mitsuhide becomes irritated with Hideyoshi. Having trouble coming up with a script, Hideyoshi ends up adapting one of Yashimoto's Yuri stories. After rehearsals, Hideyoshi is troubled both by Shinjin and Kenshin vying for bigger roles and Iyasu's controversial suggestion for an ending. On the day of the play, after the various script changes pan out, Iyasu's servant, Hanzo Hattori, ends up setting fire to the stage, trapping Hideyoshi inside, but Nobunaga comes to her rescue. Following the success of the failed play, Masamune informs Nobunaga about the location of the last pieces of the crimson armor. Nobunaga, Hideyoshi and Mitsuhide travel on foot towards Sengoku to negotiate for the remaining armor pieces. Stopping in a town to rest, the villagers show fear towards Nobunaga, believing rumors that she eats children. This turns out to be due to Mitsuhide's attempt to spread word of Nobunaga's kindness, which somehow got scrambled as it was passed along from person to person. After another long hike, they came across a village with a hot spring, which Hideyoshi spends too long in and catches a fever. With her fever worsening, Masamune anonymously donates some modern medicine from her time, claiming it to be from overseas. With Hideyoshi unable to swallow the medicine without water, Nobunaga tries giving her some water through mouth-to-mouth method, which Mitsuhide happens to witness. As Hideyoshi recovers the next morning and the trio arrive in Sengoku, the three owners of the armor keep an eye on them. As Mitsuhide becomes downhearted having mistaken the kiss between Hideyoshi and Nobunaga, the trio are confronted by the three owners of the armor, Motachika Chosuke, Soren Otomo and Motonari Mori. However, they are easily restrained by Nobunaga, who tortures them into telling her the location of a chest containing the armor. However, Mitsuhide becomes too focused on her jealousy that she doesn't notice the chest is booby-trapped before handing it to Nobunaga, who barely avoids it. The Sengoku trio escape and kidnap Hideyoshi, taking her to the top of the mountain and demanding Nobunaga bring the rest of the armor. Nobunaga and Mitsuhide become separated, with Nobunaga facing Motonari while under the effect of an anesthetic, while Mitsuhide faces Motachika and Soren, who exploit the weaknesses in her confidence. However, they manage to regain their resolve and win their respective battles and gather the remaining armor. As Mitsuhide falls deeper into despair over Nobunaga's preference towards Hideyoshi, Ieyasu and Masamune make plans to claim the armor. As the trio stop by Hanaji on the way back, Hideyoshi reads up on her history of her world, in which Mitsuhide betrayed and killed Nobunaga. Overhearing Mitsuhide talking to herself about potentially killing Nobunaga, Masamune tells her to test her bonds first and gives her some supposedly strong sake. That night, Mitsuhide ties up Hideyoshi and offers the sake to Nobunaga until she passes out, before setting the inn she is on fire. Before walking into the flames herself, Hideyoshi breaks free and stands before Mitsuhide, telling her that she should face her feelings before heading inside to search for Nobunaga. As Mitsuhide goes in after her, she finds Nobunaga, who stops her from throwing her life away by reminding her how important she is to her. When Mitsuhide stops breathing as a result of taking in too much smoke, Nobunaga performs CPR on her to bring her back. As Hideyoshi continues to search the burning building, she discovers Masamune attempting to steal the crimson armor. As she awakens after being saved by her, Hideyoshi comes to realization that Masamune is actually her teacher. As Masamune escapes with the armor, she is confronted by Ieyasu. As Nobunaga, Hideyoshi and Mitsuhide catch up to Masamune, they find her already beaten, the armor taken by Ieyasu, who is now attacking Nobunaga's castle. As Nobunaga and Mitsuhide head to the castle, Masamune explains to Hideyoshi how she traveled back in time to obtain the crimson armor and allow the Date clan to conquer Japan, inadvertently ending up in the alternate past and bringing Hideyoshi with her. She explains she had encountered a Date clan member from the future, later discovering a jewel that could send her through time and a scroll containing the legend of the crimson armor. As Ieyasu sneaks into the castle to try to retrieve the remaining pieces of armor, Masamune warns Hideyoshi that the armor will go out of control if not equipped with the jewel she brought with her. Ieyasu uses her magic to activate the armor, awakening the evil heart inside her. As Ieyasu becomes possessed by the armor and unleashes her power on the village, Nobunaga asks the other feudal lords for her help in stopping her, with Hideyoshi insisting that they find a way to do it without killing her. Working together, the group combine their attacks to overwhelm Ieyasu, giving Nobunaga the opportunity to break the armor, turning Ieyasu back to normal, albeit with a newfound fondness for Nobunaga. As Nobunaga begins rebuilding her castle, Masamune finds the crimson armor amongst the wreckage and becomes swayed by it. As Masamune pleads that she needs to wear the armor to change the world, Nobunaga tells her how her recent experiences taught her that there is more to being a leader than to rule with power. As her friends stand to fight against her should she try, Nobunaga destroys the armor, saying there is no need for it, bringing Masamune back to her senses. Afterward, Masamune tells Hideyoshi that they need to return to their own time. In the epilogue, Hideyoshi stops in front of the temple and spots a dog who reminds her of Shiro. When she confronts the dog, she discovers it is Shiro, who is elated to see Hideyoshi, but he can't play with her because of an important mission he has to complete. Hideyoshi begs him to know what he's doing, so he whispers it to her. This is the end of the video, so please watching all of my anime recap series. Thanks for watching.